The Guide to MSX Software was a brochure published by Philips for the French market. It was never actually sold, but it was given free whenever you purchased a new media system MSX line of computers from Philips or in various shops around the country. The goal was to promote the MSX standard and offering a list of various software available for the platform. While it wasn't a comprehensive list, it was actually quite thorough in listing most of the European softwares available at the time. Now, the obvious agenda was to promote Philips software and hardware, but they did quite a good job in providing information and small reviews on tons of softwares. They would provide a small review and tell you what medium the game was available at, whether it was tape, disc or cartridge. There's no information on the date this was published, but the fact that the MSX2 VG8235 is promoted at the back of the brochure would place it around 1985 or 1986. This was actually the first of the new media system line of computers that Philips was making. Even though it doesn't have the NMS, the new media system naming convention that Philips would adopt afterwards, the new media system logo is present on the machine. Another indication of the date is the presence of the Infogrames game L'Affaire. Now, this was a gorgeous point-and-click published in 1986. I have the game and I've played it quite extensively when I was younger, and I've never been able to finish it, and it seems that nobody has been able to finish it, so if you have finished L'Affaire, let me know, because I'd love to know how it ends. Now, this brochure was especially significant for me because for a young boy living in the countryside without access to shops or magazines, this was the only information I had about MSX software. I must have owned 5 or 6 of these. One was in my school bag, another in my room, and the rest were scattered around the house. I would peruse them at any given chance and would form images in my mind of what the games were like and how they played, what they looked like, what the music was. Of course, I was far off the mark every time, but at least it got my imagination going. Also, it would actually tell me that these games existed in the first place because, well, it's hard to imagine now, but there was a time when there was no internet or even basic access to literature like magazines. So I had to contend with it for quite a time until this magazine appeared on the shelves of a local shop. And quite a revelation it was. Suddenly I had pictures and full reviews, and it was simply amazing. I'd actually never seen a computer magazine before, so the fact that there was one dedicated to the one I was using was just fantastic. Eventually more magazines started appearing on the shelves, and I started getting subscriptions to them. Micro MSX was another one. And it's only after a trip to England that I discovered the English-speaking MSX computing. And they weren't just covering software, they were also reviewing MSX hardware. If you think Rob the Robot for NES is expensive, wait until you try and get one of the MSX robots. Anyway, let's get back to our brochure. The central fold had about 4 pages of full-color reviews. Well, there weren't so much reviews, more, screenshot with a bit of text, but this was enough to capture my imagination. This is the first time I saw L'Affaire, and this is why I actually ended up getting it. Naively, I thought I could work my way from the first screenshot and get each game down, but it didn't quite happen like that. Now, with it being a Philips brochure, obviously a lot of Philips games were promoted heavily. But some of them are quite rare, and I've never seen them since. Those 3 under L'Affaire, Regat, Rendezvous with Rama, and Infinity. I just never seen them anywhere. Rendezvous with Rama was interesting though, because it was also available for the Apple II and the PC. This was an adaptation of the Arthur C. Clarke novel. The game was also remade in 1996 into a mist-driven type of adventure game with puzzle-based and with lots of pre-calculated animations. It's not quite my type of game. I've never played it, but I just know it exists. On the other side, there was a lot of Konami titles actually, and for good reasons. I mean, Konami was probably the best game developer on the platform, period. There was a ton of other very good games, but I mean, Konami definitely were the masters. Oh, Illusion is another cool one. I'd have to do a review of that because it was quite mind-blowing at the time. Monkey Academy is another cool Konami title, and all the Activision games, River Raid, Beam Rider, Hero, Keystone Caper, really cool game. I'll have to do reviews of these. And the end of the Centerfold had a lot of home computing, mostly Philips softwares and Infograms for some reason. Actually, Infograms were quite the bullies at the time. There's tons of reports of them actually verbally harassing journalists because they were given bad reviews for their games. Yeah, interesting. But anyway, here it is, the Philips Guide to Software brochure. This was my connection to the world of MSX games, mostly. It's really cool to still own one copy of these because as a kid I knew it by heart. It was scary. Folks, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe if you liked what you saw and you don't want to miss them when they come out next. If you want to find me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, you can do so under Banjo Guy Ollie. And if you want to help the show develop and progress further, you can do so with Patreon, of course. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.